Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2014 Student Government Association debate. This year's moderator is myself, Jared Epstein, as the current president of Student Government. As the moderator, my responsibility is to ensure that all candidates have an equal opportunity to speak at each issue brought forward. I will be making sure all rules are being followed, posing questions and redirecting discussion, as well as monitoring the time for each response. There will be a standard set of opening questions for each candidate to answer. Following this, we are going to get into individual position questions, where the questions will be different for each specific position. Last, we will go into our audience member questions segment of the night, which we are going to ask the audience members to submit questions on a note card and hand them to Teresa Piantosi. As far as responses go, each candidate will be granted 1 minute to answer each question. Each candidate has the opportunity to answer the question unless directed at a different position. At the moderator's discretion, the response may be extended by 30 seconds per candidate. Each candidate can choose to not answer each question. Candidates will have the opportunity to give a 1 minute closing statement at the end of the debate. So without further ado, I'm going to ask each candidate to introduce themselves. Beginning to my left, please state your name, year, and position you're running for.
Hey guys, my name is John Caro. I'm currently a junior and running for president.
Hello everyone, I'm Tyler Flood. I'm currently a junior here, and I'm running for vice president.
Hi, my name is Emily Giannoni. I am currently a sophomore and a marketing major, and I am running for secretary.
My name is Justin Golden. I'm currently a junior. I'm an accounting major, and I'm running for treasurer.
Hey everyone, my name is Nick Mizia, and I'm a sophomore, accounting and finance major, and I'm running for treasurer.
Hello, I'm Gary Pritz. I'm also a sophomore, and I'm running for parliamentarian.
Thank you. Now let's move into the opening questions. Please make sure to speak loud and clear so the camera can pick up what you're saying. What is your greatest accomplishment of your collegiate career?
My greatest accomplishment of my collegiate career so far is maintaining an extremely high GPA while being so involved in school. Currently on the exec board for a few different organizations right now. I'm still maintain a GPA well above the requirements of my major and within these certain organizations.
The greatest accomplishment for me, I would say, is being elected to two leadership positions, both vice president positions for two different organizations.
My biggest achievement is being on two different organizations and maintaining my GPA, as well as having a high influence within those organizations.
My greatest accomplishment is maintaining a high GPA, higher than the standard for my major, as well as being involved in multiple clubs and organizations, and also completing multiple community service hours as a student.
My biggest achievement so far at Westchester has been two things: probably making the tennis team my freshman year, and also being elected the treasurer of another organization here.
I would say my biggest achievement is keeping my academics in good standing and also being a part of 4 different organizations on campus.
Thanks everyone, great job. For the second question, I'm going to ask Tyler to start first. What qualities do you possess that will help you lead this organization?
Well, first of all, I have experience for SGA. I'm the current last year's vice president. So I have experience with knowing what goes on in this organization and how everything is run. As well as I think I'm a very trustworthy and friendly person. Everyone can talk to me if they have any problems or any questions they have here at student government.
My abilities are that I've been on 2 student government executive boards, both in middle school and high school. I've been a leader throughout that, as well as on different teams and clubs within my high school. Also, being at school, my friends and family all turn to me for advice, as well as coming to me because they know I'm a good listener. And I'm willing to sit down and hear anyone's opinions and bring them back to SGA.
I believe I'm qualified for this position because as an accounting major, I have a great background with budgeting and finance. I've also served on the SGA Budget and Finance Committee for the past 2 years. So I've seen this committee under multiple treasurers, and I'm ready to take it on and lead it myself as treasurer.
My greatest quality is also my experience, as Tyler Flood just said. A couple reasons for that is because I'm the current treasurer of the organization already, with handling over $50,000 a year. Also, in my free time, I run my own eBay business with a decent amount of sales per week. Having to handle all that money definitely goes to show that it'll help me achieved very well as the treasurer position on SGA. Also, I've been on the finance committee under the current treasurer, the past treasurer, and I sat in a position with a meeting with Mel Josephs, who is the SSI director, and she went over how to properly go over the budgets, which is the hardest job as the treasurer.
I would say some of my best qualities is one of my experience. I was a previous parliamentarian. I believe I possess many of the great leadership qualities that people look for in their student leaders. And also, I just have a yearning to make Westchester itself just a better school.
Thanks. Being a member of an executive board can be a very difficult task, especially when representing the whole student body. You are bound to run into conflict at some point, so if this conflict comes up, how do you best deal with it, and what is your best conflict resolution style? Gary, I'm going to start with you.
My best conflict resolution style is basically listening to the needs of basically the people who have a problem with what's going on. I believe I'm a down-to-earth person and easy to talk to. So that's pretty much it.
The way I like to approach a problem is taking it head on, because I've noticed that if you kind of throw it on the back burner, it can put all the anxiety, kind of delaying the inevitable, because you're going to have to do it. So if you just sit there and don't let it happen, then it builds up a lot of stress, and that'll just delay and more stuff will pile on you, and then you'll find yourself a week from then realizing you're so behind on your work.
I also like to face problems head on, and I believe in coming to a vote or consensus with every issue, just to relay the voice of the people and make sure that the most amount of students will be satisfied with any decision that is made.
When conflict arises, I know things can get pretty heated pretty fast, especially being in an organization with around 87 guys. I understand that completely. The first thing I would do is just take a day away from it, just to get emotions off the table. You really understand what people's needs and problems are and to why they actually arise in the first place, and not just emotion-filled discussions and things like that. Then you just need to receive all the facts and mediate the problem with possible third party or unbiased opinion to reach a consensus conclusion.
Yeah, I agree with John. I would say you have to listen to all sides of the story, gather all the facts as much as possible, and then assess the situation head on, and just be unbiased and as honest as you can to resolve the problem.
I agree with both John and Tyler when they say that you need to step back, especially when people are coming with conflict that's so heated and so controversial. You need to step back, dissect what's actually going on, and then face it within the least biased way, as well as making sure you're hearing everyone's sides of the story to get the most, the best possible response.
Thank you. And for the final opening question, I'm going to ask Emily to answer first. Please explain to everyone what leadership means to you.
Leadership means to me that you are a person that takes life by the horns and you take whatever comes at you and you think of it not only for yourself but what best suits everyone else, as well as making sure that you're not letting people's personal stories sway the decision in a way that makes it a emotional battle. I think that being a leader, you have to be able to voice your opinion, but also know when it's your turn to be quiet. And I think that that's one of the most important parts of becoming a leader in the student government.
One word I would find to align with leadership in my mind is education. I feel like as a leader, you're able to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes to build yourself as a better person. But also as a leader, you're able to educate others that are below you to potentially in the future make sure that they don't make those mistakes, or to build them up to become a stronger leader. And it's a great ability to be able to have that first-hand learning experience through a leadership position.
Leadership to me is sort of holding yourself to a higher standard than the people that are under you, not like a cocky sort of way, in the way that if you're not outperforming the people under you, then how can you be a leader? Because the people under you are supposed to be the people that look up to you. So you need to set the example and sort of delegate the power in the right way, not in a way that you're like, you do this, you do that, but sort of setting a nice guideline of instruction so that people know what to do, they can look up to you, come to you for advice, basically just being the guy to go to. So not sort of just throwing all the power on someone or all the responsibilities on someone else, but definitely setting an example so people can come to you and look up to you and you as a role model?
My perspective of a leader is pretty much similar. You always have to set the bar high. The eyes are always on you, so you always have to represent yourself in a respectable manner. But one of the most important qualities I find in a leader is being accountable or reliable.
When I think of leadership, I really think of how you have to influence others. You have to have the passion to lead and really influence others to act. I think a huge part of that is really selling someone an idea. When you're a leader, you're not just selling someone a product, you're selling them what's in your mind, you're selling them an idea that they need to follow on. And once you sell them on that idea, you need to make a plan to lead them to that goal of that idea.
For me, leadership is being a role model for your peers and others. It's important to inspire others to be the best people they can be, and I think that's very important as a leader.
And that concludes our opening questions. Now we're going to move into the specific positions questions, starting with the president. This past year, there's been many changes brought to the Senate to better the student body. What other ideas do you have for this upcoming year?
As other ideas for the upcoming year, I'd say after rewriting 27 pages of bylaws, I'm kind of mind-boggled right now that everyone is sold on the idea for the most part. Changes, the only major changes I would change are just the logistics. Whatever arises that doesn't work perfectly according to the bylaws, I would easily adapt to it. Just get feedback from other students, the organization, the Senate as well. Just change anything that doesn't really work.
Thanks, John. Tyler, as Vice President, you're responsible for publicizing not only SGA events, but all SGA recognized events. How do you plan on sufficiently informing the student body of these functions differently than what has already been done?
Well, before I was on the exec board last year, I was actually the public relations senator. My main job doing that was to publicize events for SGA and other events through Twitter, Facebook, and all social media. So just going off of that, basically that's how I go about it. As well as just flyers and advertisement. I am a marketing major, so that's right up my alley as well. Just getting the name out there for all the other organizations and just for them to gain recognition.
Awesome, thank you. Emily, this next question is for you. How do you think the minutes could be improved, especially with the addition of the Council of Organizations?
I think that right now, the 2-hour meetings might seem like they drag on, but for a lot of people it is good insight. But having the Council of Organizations is going to significantly decrease those minutes so that we are focusing on the business that we need to put our focus on rather than hearing all these organizations from outside, and we can have them all go in for one meeting, and then once it's time for student government to do our job, we have the time and we can significantly decrease our minutes and make sure we focus on the things that we need to be focusing on and pay attention to those things that are pertinent.
Awesome, thank you. Gary, this question's for you. What is your thoughts on the student organization recognition process, and do you have any ideas on how to improve this?
As far as my thoughts on the student
Recognition
process, it's pretty stable. I don't want to point out names or badmouth anyone, but it's been kind of slow due to the changes due to the executive board, and in my mind it's only getting better. And I believe I can just contribute to that because I have the experience and I know what to do with it now. So I believe it is efficient as long as the person who's in charge of it, which would be the parliamentarian, is doing their job.
Thanks, Gary. This next question is for the treasurer position. Nicholas, I'm going to ask that you answer this one first. How do you plan on making the auxiliary request process more visible to the campus as a whole?
More visible to the campus. Well, first of all, I think that the thing that necessarily isn't going to be my doing is under Jared, the Council of Organizations, is going to be in process next year. So that'll mean first years every month, every organization is going to have a representative here. So it's basically my duty to sort of go over the auxiliary fund and the allocations from the past couple of weeks, because it's once a month, there's only 3 weeks between each meeting. So to sort of, there's going to be a lot of auxiliary requests between then, and I'm going to have to go line by line, sort of why, if I'm elected, why me, the finance committee and I went over, chose this amount of money to this organization, and basically just relay that information to the 250 plus delegates from the best organizations here.
Thanks. Justin, can you repeat the question?
Sure.
How do you plan on making the auxiliary request process more visible to campus as a whole?
I would probably have to agree with Nick by, I guess, relaying information from, auxiliary requests to the council organizations, maybe setting, not necessarily a deadline, but, saying that for the month of September, all auxiliary requests need to be submitted, I guess, a week prior to the council organizations, so that after taking them to the Budget and Finance Committee and going over them through that they could potentially be approved through the council organizations, or take in the feedback from the council organizations prior to actually voting on them in the Senate.
Thanks, everyone. Justin, I'm going to ask that you answer this question first. In the event that several student organizations request funds and there's not enough money to go around, on what basis would you allocate that money?
I would probably provide I would probably start by equally dividing it and saying that and giving a cap to each organization that they could take from the necessary funds. And I would also take into account things like the number of students in the organization, whether it was a nationals event or a championship. There's all kinds of things that go into deciding on an auxiliary request. But if an organization requests a very high amount of funding for, say, only 2 or 3 people to represent Westchester University in a small way, then I would not be able to give them the said high amount of funds requested. Where if a large organization was requesting a large amount of money to represent Westchester University in a positive way, I would most likely give them more than the smaller organization.
Thanks. Nick, do you need me to repeat the question? Okay. In the event that several student organizations request funds and there's not enough money to go around, on what basis would you allocate that money?
All right, well, first of all, the Finance Committee, which is under the Treasurer, has the ultimate say in where the money goes to. The Treasurer is just kind of there to mediate the situation. Well, the first process that I would take is whenever I held that Finance Committee meeting once a week, I would definitely get the organizations, whoever, the President, Treasurer, whoever they would send, to come in and kind of sort of go over that. And then I would have all the organizations sort of have a deadline to come in and talk to the Finance Committee and I. And if they don't come in by that deadline, then they sort of have to either wait to submit another auxiliary request, or kind of not be able to get any money at that moment. So yeah, it would be definitely to come in and then just up to the Finance Committee meeting. And then obviously if they would have to look at the past, if you look at their past, see if they represent Westchester in the proper way, depending what meeting they go into. If they're Justin said, if they don't have a lot of members, it'd be kind of ridiculous for them to request a lot of money.
Thanks, everyone. That concludes our specific positions questions. Now I'm going to ask the audience to please submit their questions. Thank you. All right, John, this question's for you. Why do you want to be the president of Student Government Association?
The reason I want to be the president is because I've been on the Senate for over 2 years. I've held about 3 positions on the Senate, moved up to secretary last year. Really enjoyed my experience with the executive board. Enjoyed it so much that I decided to rewrite 28 pages of bylaws, which is kind of nerdy of me. But I really want to see this. I've seen this organization grow since I was a freshman. I really feel pride in it. I've helped it grow when I was younger. I've seen other people help it grow. I've seen great leaders through SGA. I just want to be included in their names and see us continue to grow.
Thanks, John. This is for the treasurer position. I'm going to ask Nick to start out. Some organizations think that the Student Government Association is not as giving with money as they could be. As treasurer, how will you ensure that organizations do not feel this way when asking and receiving their budgets?
I think a huge reason why they don't feel that way is a lot of communication is sort of done electronically, texting, email. You can't really deliver a proper and effective message and really direct your emotions properly. And as treasurer, everyone says that you say no a lot, and that's just like the way the game goes. So I would definitely offer for whoever is requesting money from the finance committee to come in and talk to us and speak to us and sort of get a face-to-face relationship, because like I said, communicating over email and texting is just tedious, not effective. You can't really tell what the other person is really thinking. Like, it's all about seeing each other face-to-face, facial expressions, really getting a good relationship with each other.
Thanks. Justin, do you want me to repeat the question?
Yes.
Some organizations think that the Student Government Association is not as giving with their money as they could be. As treasurer, how will you ensure that organizations do not feel this way when asking and receiving their budgets?
Well, being that there are a limited amount of funds, we really do have to not be stingy with money, but take a careful watch over who exactly we are giving money. So I would say that the organization really needs to sell themselves to us with auxiliary requests and with their budgets. With certain items and budgets, we do put caps on, such as office supplies. Every organization, all 100, 200 plus, receive the same amount for office supplies, things like that. When it comes down to auxiliary requests, I guess like Nick said, come in and talk to us. Face-to-face communication. Sell your idea to us. If you are going to a championship, sell that to us and why you need money and why you think that will be your organization representing Westchester in the best light and really providing our school with a good name, and not just taking money from the student budget to do whatever you please with.
Thanks. I have another question for the treasurer position. I'm going to ask you to start first, Justin. You both said that you have experience budgeting. Do you have any experience teaching others how to handle a budget?
I would say yes, I do have experience teaching others how to handle a budget. I've served as a treasurer of another organization, and my budget was made up of multiple budgets that are contained within other positions. So I would have to notify the said position of how much money they can utilize for the semester, based on how much they would need. And each time that they would want to make a purchase, they would have to come authorize that through me, kind of similar to a corporate controller position in any corporate America style job. So yes, I would say I do have experience teaching others how to budget and manage their money.
Thanks. Nick, I'll repeat the question for you. You both said that you had experience budgeting. Do you have any experience teaching others on how to handle a budget?
Not extensive, but basically the same thing that Golden just said. Under the organization I'm treasurer for, there are many other executive boards positions, other committee seats, and everything and a lot of it goes towards the fundraising chairs. Fundraising chairs need a lot of money and don't really know much about how to handle the money and really what goes into thinking the process through. And sort of like the treasurer job is always a lot of saying no because money's limited. So it's definitely, I've had the experience, I've run a couple fundraising events so far with raffling off tickets and basically buying supplies and whatnot with the push chairs, and we were in the process of holding a family barbecue for my organization. And I have to work directly with the man responsible for that and sort of going over what to buy, how to basically get the best bang for your buck. So that's pretty much it.
Thanks. John, this question's for you. Obviously, there was a lot of backlash when dealing with the Council of Organizations, as you saw. How will you be able to separate your personal feelings when conducting meetings with this business going on?
Personal feelings, you can't make them go away. I'm obviously not going to say I'm a brick wall. I think myself, I'm a very passionate person. I think a lot of other people can see my emotions. The Council of Organizations won't really be an emotion-filled meeting, if that's what the question's alluding to. The Council of Organizations, if organizations don't like it and they want to propose any changes to it, I'm all ears. Like I said before, it's all about being flexible. If things don't work, they don't work. I'm not going to beat a dead horse and try to make it work. It was a good idea. The executive board was all on board with it. We got it passed through the Senate, but like I said, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. As far as personal feelings go, I'm not going to be personally offended if it doesn't work. I do wish to hope to see it work, but if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Thanks, John. Tyler, this question is for you. How will you balance your personal life and duties as an officer of SGA?
Well, I think it's pretty easy to do such a thing because as Vice President, you have 10 office hours required. So within those 10 office hours, I think it's pretty easy to balance the schedule and keep everything organized and situated, keeping my personal life different and separate from that. And then when it's time to do business, you have those 10 office hours a week and dedicate all that time when needed.
Thank you. And that's going to conclude our audience questions segment of the night. Right now I'm going to ask to move into the closing statements portion. John, I'm going to ask you to begin, and we'll go that way, and then we'll start with Justin and go that way.
The only thing I'd like to say is I thank you guys for being here, for the opportunity to be president. I know I'm running unopposed, so you might not seem that I'm as happy to be here, but I definitely am. Like I said before, I really want to see this organization grow. I've helped it grow, I'd like to think. I just want to move it to places it hasn't been before. Hopefully, people that are on the Senate now are going to be on the Senate again, so we can keep this same group of collaborative people together and just build upon it.
Yeah, going off of what John said, I just want to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. I want to ensure you that I'm motivated, and I will stay motivated throughout the whole year. Given my past experiences, I know what needs to be done and how to effectively achieve those goals. So with that being said, I'm excited moving in, hopefully, as a vice president.
I also am very thankful for all of you, and I'm very passionate about student government. I've been in it since I was 12 years old. I'm excited about what this year is going to bring, and I'm also running unopposed, but that's not going to make me do any less of a good job than I would have been doing if I had run against someone. And also, I'm excited to see and work with this exec board, the Senate, and the Council of Organizations to make this university even better than it is.
I'd like to thank you for providing me with this opportunity to run, and I'd also encourage you to vote. In addition to that, I feel like I've been building up to this throughout my whole college career. I stepped on student government as a sophomore, and I was actually going to run for treasurer after 1 year, but decided it was best to serve as a senator for an additional year. So I believe that the maturity I have acquired over that additional year and my 2 years of serving as a senator will really help me do excellent things with this position. Thank you so much.
Just want to thank everyone for watching, even though, yeah, maybe like it's a tedious video, but I just believe that I would be a good candidate just solely for the fact that my background is very extensive in handling money. Like I said, I'm the current treasurer of the organization right now with handling a decent amount of money. Also, I run my own eBay business, and I've attended a lot of meetings with Wirtz, Eric Wirtz, who's the past treasurer, sort of for budget planning, twice to go over how to effectively propose a budget as an organization, also how to sort of allocate their costs. And also, I said this already, but it's a pretty big deal that I was one of the few people who met with Mel Josephs, and she sort of gave a guideline on how to accept budgets and allocate money, because it's almost impossible to micromanage budgets, especially as students. In the real world, it'll be okay when you're working 8 hours a day, but when you have an hour meeting once a week, it's literally impossible to micromanage like 250 budgets. So she definitely gave me the insight that I can use next year or in further years. I'm not elected this year, so I would like to thank everyone for watching, and yeah.
I just want to thank everyone for watching as well. Just to let you guys know, I'm running unopposed as well. But I'm very ecstatic about making Westchester just a better place. And I encourage you all to vote for me because I am a great leader and I'm only going to get better as time will come. And I also want to encourage you all to come out and join the Senate for the following upcoming year. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks to the candidates for participating, and thank you for the wonderful attendance that we have here in this room, and thank you for everyone that's watching online. Just a reminder that elections will be open Wednesday at 8 a.m. and be Wednesday, April 16th at 8 a.m. and be closing Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Reopening Thursday, the 17th at 8 a.m. Closing Thursday night at 10 p.m. Reopening Friday at 8 a.m. and closing Friday at 4 p.m. So make sure you cast your votes wisely. Please make sure to cast your votes. Thanks again and have a great night.